Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Cat A webinars. And this is a very special meeting because it is the first in our Agent 365 series that we are having this January. So thank you for joining us with that. So without further ado, I'm one of your hosts, and I'll just be in the background helping with moderation. And then we have our speakers, Shilpi Sinha and Sneha Kohli. And so I will hand it over to them to introduce themselves. Shilpi?
Hi everyone. Good morning, good day from whichever time zone you're joining us, and a very happy new year. I'm a product lead of the M365 Admin Center and super excited to be talking to you today about Agent 365.
Hey everybody, great to meet you. Sneha Kohli here. I'm a group product manager. I am a PM lead for Agent 365, working on agent plus human workflows. I'm so excited to present to you today.
Awesome. So lucky to have you. And if you guys in the audience, I'm sure you noticed these are some pretty important people in the Agent 365 area. And it's because we realized that this is going to be super expansive and revolutionary to all of us. And so we really wanted to make sure that you guys were able to get started right away and really learn more about it. So just super excited about this.
Perfect. So I'm excited to be presenting to all of you on the fundamental concepts behind Agent 365. There are several pillars of Agent 365. Today, in the deep dive portion of our session, we will go through one of the pillars that is for facing the IT admin, talking more about the registry, and then another pillar that Sneha will talk about, which is about the experiences of how end users interact with Agent 365. So through these series, you will get a full sense of all aspects. So we're going through individual pillars deeply in these series. So with that, first of all, just some basic context on what is happening around us. We all understand and recognize that AI is just fundamentally changing the way we get work done, and it's redefining every process in every organization. And we're seeing it play out in all our frontier organizations that are taking this leap to really embrace AI. But with the notion of really, we've seen that the impact of the organizations that are taking it on are seeing a very outsized impact on their performance and business results. Now, what is evolving in the way work gets done? Largely, work still evolves right at the center of human ambition, people using their intelligence, their skills, and their creativity to really drive business results. And then they're supported by Copilot as a personal assistant, so they can work better, faster, and using their time and skills to really maximize their throughput. And now, increasingly, everyone and their Copilot is being augmented by agents. These are a collection of agents that are really expert systems that you can that automate workflows, and you can really they can execute on business processes. This unleashing this new productivity levels is what Agent 365 is really all about. But what does this mean? If the agents are really taking over or coming into our workplace, one of the projections that we've all seen in the last few months is it's going to be about 1 billion agents very soon. 2028 is not even that far. And so obviously everyone around us is sort of thinking about how do we get ready for this and how do we really manage the risks associated with this? And that is where Agent 365 comes into play, because these questions, when we have all of this influx of agents coming into our system, the top of mind questions for us as organizations that are leading this transformation is, first of all, do I even understand all the agents that are running in my environment? Without knowing what is running, it is very hard to really try to figure out, can we govern them? It is such a heterogeneous platform of agents. What platform it was built from, where it was built, what is the runtime it's using, all of this heterogeneity actually makes it even more complicated for us to sort of understand and feel like in control with these agents. You also need to understand, can you actually secure and govern them and put the right guardrails around them in a way that you feel you have a clean understanding and control over these agents. And all of this governance and security is one aspect, but ultimately all of us are also going to be asking the question, what is the impact it's driving? Can I understand the ROI of these agents? All of these, when you put together and include all of these agents in new workflows, new roles, new people, the biggest thing is, how do I build the infrastructure that helps you manage all of this? That is where Agent 365 comes to play. It is the control plane we're offering for all your agents. With Agent 365, you can deploy, manage, and secure all the agents that are running in your organization. I'm going to underscore all, whether they're using a Microsoft agent platform or a growing list of agent providers emerging across the industry. All of them will be using the tools and systems that you're already familiar with. That is our goal with Agent 365. So I'm going to talk you through the pillars of Agent 365 that allows you to understand what is the offering and how do you interact with it. So foundationally, if you think about it, Agent 365, if it is the backbone and the foundation of how you manage, secure, and run all your agents, first step to it is going to be having a comprehensive list of agents built across any platform and built by any publisher, but being able to see them all in one place. If you see them, you know how to govern them. That's the premise of the comprehensive registry. Second, once you have them all in one place, you want to start governing them through access controls. You access the data and the systems you control the data and systems that they have access to so that you can stay compliant and protected. You want to be able to interact with this registry or this comprehensive list of agents in visual ways that allows you to really understand what is happening with the agent, what are the agents doing in interactions with other agents, as well as irrespective of where the agent is running. Interoperability is a great element here for you to understand, are these agents working with data, apps, are they communicating across each other, and where they're running? And last but not the least, the security capabilities that you need to proactively detect and respond to any threats that might be coming into your system through the use of agents. But when you think about it, these are capabilities that you're already using to manage your existing infrastructure, like users. And that is where our proposition is that the best infrastructure that helps you manage your agents is extension of the infrastructure that helps you manage your users today. And for that, when you look at what Agent 365 is offering, it's building on top of the familiar tools that you have from Microsoft, including the whole entire suite of security products, Entra for your identity protection, Defender for your threat protection, and Purview for data and security and compliance solutions, and building on top of the tools that you use today to manage your users and devices. So I'm going to spend some time walking through a product overview of what an admin's experience would be. You can, from the perspective of Agent 365 or managing your agents, you can imagine that there is a role for an IT organization to play here. Of course, your CISO organization, your end user experiences. And so we're going to systematically walk you through all. First portion is to talk about how an admin will interact with this. And I'm going to jump into a demo for that. So let me know when you can see my screen. It should shift to my browser window that is showing the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. Now, this is something your organizations are already very, very familiar with. This is where they go to manage all their users and devices and other aspects. This is exactly where they come in to manage their co-pilots. And this is also where we're going to help them manage the agents. So this is the one thing that we've done is I think about last Ignite, I believe, is when we announced a new role, our back role called the AI admin. And systematically, we're adding more scope to the AI admin role that allows them to manage both Copilot and agents, all within M365 Admin Center. So when an AI admin comes into the M365 Admin Center, they're able to get a high-level view of how their Copilot is coming along, how agents are coming along, and of course, how the users are. So let me double-click into the agents section and show you how that experience looks like and what the capabilities we have for the admin to really stay on top of the landscape of agents in your organization. And first and foremost, it starts with giving you a count of all the agents that we're detecting and running in your system. So when you look at that agent count, you're able to also see the distributions by publishers or by platforms where they're built. And publishers is basically who's building these agents. Are they built within your organization, or are they built by other solution providers? Platforms, which platforms are they built on? And that allows you to sort of have a complete view on the set of agents that are running in your organization. And in this, we're partnering very closely with Antra to make sure that the list that we provide has parity between what you see in Antra to manage an agent, as well as here, just like you do today for users. We're also giving you a sense of how many users are active across these agents and how much time these agents are operating on behalf of users. Of course, if users are using agents, you want to understand just what is the activity of users that are interacting with agents, how many users are active with them. And we also want to tell you how many agents are trending, which are the most popular agents in your organization. But from an IT admin's perspective, the most important thing for them is what actions do I need to take so that I'm managing the list of agents that I'm seeing in my organization. And so here we have a section of all top actions that you can perform, most important being the one that's around reviewing the requests for publishing agents that have come to you from your organization. So we help you see that list and manage that request directly from here. Also, from an observability perspective, we're bringing a bunch of security risk notifications that are otherwise within the security portals, say, for example, Purview and Defender or Entra, but we're summarizing and synthesizing the risks that are available or that are possibly associated with your agents and summarizing that in a view here that you can directly take action also from here. From managing the life cycle of agents, the most important thing that every organization is striving for is to make sure all agents are at least associated with an owner or a sponsor. And so we are showing you the notion of being able to say when agents become orphaned or their owners are no longer in the organization or something, we're highlighting that in a way that you can go track and make sure that that process is always buttoned up. Agents, when they run, there's possibilities of exceptions or errors or success. We want to make sure the IT admin also has access to that information in a way that they can see which agents are running with errors or that need possibly a developer action. One thing to highlight here is that typically this type of information would be available to the different personas in different portals. One of the things that we're trying to do with this is condense and synthesize and summarize all of this information and bring that up within the M365 Admin Center. So this keeps the IT admin in the driver's seat in terms of being always in the know and start taking the actions needed. But before I jump into some of the actions, I'm going to actually walk you through the registry so you can understand what's constituting the list of agents that we're showing in this registry. So again, to underscore, Agent 365's goal is to ensure that we are highlighting or we're aggregating a list of all the agents that are running in your organization. irrespective of which platform it was built on or which publisher it was published by, which channel it is published to. So not just M365 Copilot, but any channel that the agent is published to. And we also want to highlight some of these key properties that we showed you on the agent overview page to also be available at the per agent level. So you can have a quick glance view of just how many users have I exposed this agent to, what are there any risk factors associated with this that have been flagged by the system? Are users using it? How many sessions are, because it starts to become a notion of intensity. How many sessions has this agent been used for? Are there success rates, exception rates, and how much time has it been used? So this is basically again a second drill down from the overview page into a bird's eye view of all the agents in your organization. Of course, the key is you want to also be able to understand what is the information available at the per agent basis that allows you to manage these agents more effectively. So when you click on any individual agent, in this flyout, we're showing you the details that we know about the agent, some coming from the agent metadata manifest, some derived information, but we're bringing all of that information in one view, so you have one single stop to go and look at what's going on with an agent. Starting with the overview, you're able to see, again, all those aspects of how many users have you exposed this to, which platform it was built on, which channel it is published to, who's the owner of the agent, and when was it last published and updated, or any other security risk that might be flagged for this. But you can also go in and look at what data and tools this agent has access to, what graph connectors, knowledge sources, and other MCP servers. You can also see what security and compliance features are enabled that are protecting this agent and what the monitoring is indicating. You can also see the permissions that are open and available that are consented for this agent. And last but not the least, you can also see the set of activities that and the trend of that activity over time. So you can see how many sessions, you can see the error rate, and you can see the number of active users. All of this, again, geared, same principle, information otherwise available across the ecosystem of products, but we're trying to bring that all in one place for an IT admin to have. All right, so I am now in the agent details section, and I can see all of the information about the agent, some that are provided by the developers and that exists in the manifest, and some that we collect. So for example, here we're able to see in the overview that, which platform was the agent built in, which channel is it published, who all have access to it, who's the owner, and any risks associated with it, what data and tools are available to this agent in terms of MCP servers, graph connectors, or even knowledge sources. And then from a security and compliance perspective, we are able to see what coverage exists on that agent and what it is monitored, what aspects of the activity are monitored here. On the permissions, you can see what permissions were granted and consented to for the agent to have access to run with. And last but not the least is the activity information of the agent. On the per agent basis, you'll be able to see what were the total sessions, exceptions, or active users. So again, all of this information is available across different parts of the ecosystem. If you're building it in MCS, a developer would have access to some information like that. If you're building it in Foundry, they would have it in the Foundry control plane. But this allows us to bring, no matter where the agent was built, as long as it's using the Agent 365 SDK, we are able to bring a lot of this information back into the system for us to be able to show to the IT admin. So consolidation of all information in one place. And now, if I step through and talk about some of the actions that the IT admin would like to be aware of and take here. So imagine that there were risks flagged in the system, and I'd go in here and sort of look at which are the agents, which platforms, again, same information available for you here, but now you can see that this agent has some risk. You can click on it, you can go in there and sort of look at what is the system flagged for you. Now, again, underscoring this information is available to your CISO team within their portals, but we're also highlighting that here. And the main thing for us is to make it such that if you do see an error flagged and you need to, you can block the agent from here. This action will percolate across all the products that need to be aware that this agent has been blocked, including into Entra or even at the runtime. Now, when you think about the beauty of what you can do, similarly, over time, we're going to bring you, any risks flagged by Defender or Purview. Largely, again, the whole notion is to make sure that the systems that are monitoring your agent are proactively giving you the notifications you need to stay on top of managing your agent ecosystem. If you, again, talking about the missing an owner, if you do have agents that are orphaned, you want to be able to go in there, make sure that, if you are able to actually address that by assigning a new owner and making sure that you are ensuring every agent has a sponsor and an owner that is accountable for that agent. From a just processing their inventory and the registry of all agents, one thing that we've done is here in the registry, you will see a list of all the agents that are running in your organization. And we're splitting out the catalog of agents that you can bring into your system into a different view. So just so that you have that ability to differentiate what's already available and running in your organization versus what. And then an interesting aspect of visualizing this in registry is also to go in and see this very visual view of understanding what exactly are these agents interacting and how are they interacting with. And of course, one view here that we've built is to show you by cohorts of the platforms they're built on. And here in this case, we are highlighting the agents that have some form of alert from the system, whether it's a security alert, whether it's an high exception alert. So here I can see that some of these agents have been highlighted. When I click on it, this is highlighted because this agent is interacting with other agents, and so that you can see. And it helps you assess the risk element across. And when you click on it, it shows you why it is highlighted, why there's an alert. And in this case, it's a high exception rate. So a typical action here would be that I would connect with my developer and sort of try to understand what they're doing to mitigate. And so I can see that here again, that the exception rates are higher. So again, it keeps tying you back to the information available, but then you are able to then connect back with the owner of the agents and follow up on this. Now, one of the things that from an admin action perspective that is super important here is to ensure that you're able to process the requests of agents. Typically, this is where you would see most of your line of business applications and agents that people are building that come into an admin for approval before it can be made available to other users for use. And so we are putting in a bunch of capabilities here that allows you to really stay ahead of that approval workflow. We will go into the details of this in the access control session next week, but I'll just quickly walk through a few concepts here. Again, when you click on it, all the developer provided information will be available here in terms of the data and tools, what security and compliance coverage, what permissions have they asked for. And in here, we're also going to look at if you do want to lower down the permissions or something, you can sort of over time, we want to bring that experience here so that you can actually say, no, this permission is this, I don't want to give this, you can remove that. But largely, this allows you to review that and then go through a published workflow that then allows you to look at temp policies and apply policies in a very scaled way through templates. And the whole notion of templates is to basically allow you to be very systematic and thoughtful about what policies do you want to govern a certain type of agent. You can build these templates ahead of time. We will offer some out-of-box templates, but you can build these templates and then you can and also control how many users and who you give access to. So a lot of the workflow of approving is tied into here. And I'll just quickly walk you through just so you can see, but we will go into the details of each of these in our next session. So here again, some will be default templates that we will ship, but some you can customize and build on your own. And you can follow the steps of that. You can say, okay, these are the policies that are already turned on into there. And you can assess that that's still all applicable. And then you can kind of go forward in it. You will then similarly accept permissions that are associated with it or make the necessary changes, review your agent details again one final time, and then publish the agent. So this is a workflow. We're focusing a lot on streamlining the agent approval workflows, focusing very much on automating this process as much because we do understand that it's a high scale problem and reviewing one agent at a time is going to be a huge task. So there is a lot of investment we're making in this that'll start to flow through in some of the in near future that'll allow you to really scale this process. So from a perspective of helping you understand a few concepts on the that I've covered so far, fundamentally the same products that are helping you keep your users and processes secure are now also helping you keep your agent secure. So capabilities across Entra, Defender, and Purview. The same place that you go to manage your users and devices, you are also now managing your M365. And from the M365 Admin Center, you're managing all your agents. And we are bringing more and more visibility on various aspects and facets of what the life cycle of an agent and what it involves, all in one place, all with the goal to make sure that you have a single registry, a visual layer to interact with that, and access controls that helps you stay in and put the right policies and guardrails around it. So I have covered this. In the next session, I'm going to hand off to Sneha and have her walk through the end user aspects of this.
Awesome. Thank you, Shilpi. I'm going to take over share. The share button is way too close to the end meeting button, so I'm going to be very careful. That's making me nervous. Okay, can you guys let me know when you can see my screen? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right, awesome. So I am super excited to talk to you guys about the value that agents are actually bringing to us as employees to establish why the work that we're doing is so important. So I think we can all recognize that AI has already given us a big productivity boost to this point, but now we can actually delegate work to agents. They will be able to take entire tasks off of our plate. We all acknowledge that we have a capacity gap in our organizations. Agents are a way to increase capacity, not just for us as employees, but for our entire organization as a whole. We all know the increased pressures that employees are under. Expectations are higher with always on culture, expanded scope, app and information overload, and this all leads to bigger signs of burnout and disengagement. So agents can alleviate some of these pressures and put employees back in control. Agents provide 24/7 availability, increased efficiency to take on more scope. They're integrated into existing workflows, and they give time back to employees to focus on more meaningful work. In fact, 82% of leaders expect to use agents in the next 12 to 18 months to meet demand for workforce capacity. And I'd be interested to see who in the audience are also planning the same. So how does A365 help with this? A365 extends agents, regardless of which creation platform is used to build these agents in the first place, to collaborate seamlessly with the same familiar tools that you and I use today to get work done. A365 allows these agents to meet you where you're working and to collaborate in a secure and governed fashion. Across productivity data and tools like SharePoint, Outlook, and Word, agents can be grounded in your organization's data and processes so that they can deliver secure, context-aware outcomes. The result is aligned teams, faster decision-making, and reduced manual slog. But before I show you the actual product experience in more detail, I want to reiterate and sort of ground the way this value shows up for the end user. We believe that the key to unlocked agent adoption at scale and getting all that productivity value is trust. So how do I, as an employee, ensure that the agent that I'm using is doing all the things that I want it to do and doing it well? Agent 365 brings that transparency and tooling to the end user as well, not just the IT admin, so they can delegate tasks to agents with confidence. When agents can take on entire processes and bodies of work, they stop being tools that just sit unused in a catalog somewhere and actually start becoming force multipliers. So we're going to see this in action. I've created a video for a real-world example of how agents and humans collaborate in the same workspace, driving smarter and more secure outcomes, all in our Frontier preview today. So this demo features, we launched this past fall at Ignite in the Frontier public preview. I know we were chatting about that. And we're going to be bringing this set of features to a broad public preview in March of this year. The agent will be in GA. Sorry, is there a comment? Okay. So in this case, for this video, we'll be focusing on an autonomous agent for an information worker in the procurement domain space. All right. Perfect. So let's get right into it. Unlocking the value of agents starts with discovery. Is this blurry for you guys? Hopefully it'll sharpen up soon. Just can someone come off mute and let me know if you can see it? Okay.
It's blurry.
Blurry, yeah.
Okay. Oh, here we go.
It's
All right.
blurry.
Is that
It's
better?
good.
Okay.
It's good.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. So unlocking value of the agents starts at discovery. Employees can browse and discover agents directly from the Teams or M365 App Store with easy access to agents that are already cleared for their use in the Agents for Your Teams tab. And you can see a ton of great agents here across different subject matters, some from third-party vendors, some line of business agents that were developed in-house. When an employee finds an agent that they want to use, they have clear visibility into what each of these agents do. They can see the description of the agent, its main purpose, its skills, its capabilities, the permissions that it has, and much more. And rather than creating just a generic agent that everyone can use, users can actually create their own personalized instance where the agent works on its own with its own identity, like a digital teammate, but it's actually managed by that employee. However, at the same time, IT does stay in control. The user has to first request access to the agent before they can create an instance of it. It'll be approved via the request queue in Mac that Shilpi showed you guys earlier. This makes it safer for agents to show up across the enterprise fully vetted and ready to work. So we're going to go ahead and create an instance of the Zava procurement agent, our hero agent for this demo today. We'll give it a unique name and we'll save it. Once this agent instance has been created for use, it'll reach out proactively to the employee and teams to start getting work done. Perfect. Okay, so we can see that it has. You see the agent has actually reached out proactively, and it's actually requesting more relevant grounding information. In this case, the user would be onboarding the agent by sharing any documentation, including like a policy guide, which basically grounds the agent in how procurement works inside this particular organization, Zava. From this point forward, the agent understands the rules, preferences, and constraints that guide real-world decisions for Zava procurement. And once onboarded and grounded with the appropriate business information, these agents can show up naturally across all the productivity tools that we already use today: Teams, Outlook, Word, PowerPoint, and as you can see here, Excel. Here in Excel, the procurement manager can ask for a status of any of these purchase orders directly in a comment. The agent's going to check the ERP and related systems, and it'll respond in line with a summarized status. Now, responses can take seconds, they can take minutes, but either way, this really reduces the need to hunt down and track information across multiple tools. Okay, also, the agent has its own mailbox since it has its own instance, so it can receive inbound purchase requests, which means the agent can directly receive a request for laptops from a customer. Given the right scope parameters and guardrails, this is the type of task that Ramir feels that the agent can take on. So, when the agent receives that email, it gets to work immediately. When we open the card here for more details, we can see the agent's thought processes and the steps that it's taken. It identifies the request, it compares suppliers, it calls out to other agents for supplier insights, and it checks the policy doc to ensure compliance. All of this happens automatically, with the agent coordinating steps that would normally take multiple applications and manual handoffs. This is where agents start to give time back, handling coordination and lookups so people can focus on higher value work. So the agent is processing the email request. In this case, it's identified 2 different suppliers that could fit. But before completing the purchase, the agent is bringing the human into the loop. Based on configuration thresholds and policies, it's asking for approval, ensuring that risk is managed and control is maintained. Perfect. Okay, so as we discussed earlier, one of the most important aspects of using an agent in the workspace is being able to observe and trust what they're doing. So here in the activity tab, we can see all of the activity runs that this agent has made. We can see which systems the agent accessed, what suppliers were evaluated, and how policy and business rules were applied at each stage. And we can delve deeper into the details. So when we investigate a row like this request for a laptop order, we can see each activity node, a complete record of how the work was carried out, step by step. This is for the employee so that they can trace where the request originated. Did it come from an Excel comment, a Teams message, an inbound email? But it becomes clear why decisions were made, not just what actions were taken. This level of transparency is what builds confidence. It allows users and IT alike to review outcomes, audit behavior, tune guardrails, and gradually shift from constant approvals to trusted execution. Okay, perfect. So to recap, Agent 365 provides the foundational elements required to manage, secure, and run all of your agents, starting with a single registry to provide visibility into every agent in your enterprise, through to access controls, interoperability, security, and of course, like we just saw, all these productivity gains. We're so excited to see how you all take advantage of A365 as part of your innovation journey to the new frontier. Ashley, I'm going to hand it back to you.
Please have a good evening, morning, noon, and night, wherever you are in the world.